Fight on!
Yo guys, what up? Welcome back to Top Tier Arcade. My name is Steve, and you're back with me on my parents' garage. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the Neo-Geo 6-slot Part 4, which are my memories, the memories video. So yeah, I couldn't wait until I did this one. A lot of fond memories with the Neo-Geo and how it really shaped, again, more of me, like, as a fighting game, huge fan and collector. So why don't we get into that? Before we do so, there's a reason I have this outfit. Before we do so, I'm going to be smoking as customary with my memories video most of the time, as much as I can. I want to smoke to reminisce back. I mean, another name for a cigar is a reflection stick for that reason, to reminisce back and reflect. So, with that being said, let's light this up. I'm going to have the description like I always do. It's a Gurkha Elegance. It's a Churchill 7-inch by 47 ring gauge. Nice smoke, it's mild, not the best quality, but they're nice. I have a few of them. So let's get right to it. And yeah. This happens when I use my mom's matches. No. So the weather's a lot nicer when I filmed the reviews, because those few days were just cold and raining. So I'm happy we have beautiful weather now. It's not even, damn it, the wind. Good enough. Alright. Let's get right to it. So, without further ado, let's talk about the memories of the Neo-Geo. And again, if you guys ever want to participate per se, always in the description. Please give me some feedback. If you guys want to let me know what memories you have of it, please do so. Here's where it all started for me. So I did mention, and I touched on when I did the reviews of each individual game, like Art of Fighting is really the first one where I'm like, what is this big cabinet? What is this that has Art of Fighting that's going against Street Fighter, which is insane back then because it was untouchable. Neo-Geo was, again, something that had variety. Obviously, the cabinet has 1, 2, 4, or 6 slot. I never knew a 6 slot, it was around until I got in the hobby. 4 slot was actually one of my grails. I wanted a 4 slot. It wasn't until I saw the 6 slot at Sasha's Raid where I'm like, yo, the control panel is bigger, and you have a little more room, and then there's more game variety, so that's awesome. So seeing the Neo-Geo and, with the, something that was comparable, or even a lot of people liked it better than Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, it was a different alternative. The graphics were a lot more advanced, they had better sound and everything else. So we brought home the AES after playing it in the computer store, playing the different games and trying that variety. We were really intrigued at it. My brother, older brother Mike, was like, yo, why don't we rent the AES? So we rented the AES and took those games home, in a sense, and played them and got good at them. Whether it be the Art of Fighting, Samurai Showdown, King of Fighters. King of Fighters, actually, no, because that came out later on. A lot of the earlier games, those ones were, our go-to. So it was hugely inspiring. Again, getting more into the fighting game thing was a little redundant, because a lot of my collection's fighting, but not exclusive to. My biggest memory, the one that's ingrained in my brain, was, other than, being at home with my brothers playing, and in the arcade and kind of gathering around and seeing this, competitive Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, was when I was in martial arts in my mid-teens. I ended up getting my black belt, so I do my black belt. And I was actually looking to film in this video for my gi, and because I used to wear a red headband or a white headband when I was in training, a la Ryu, because Ryu's my most favorite fictional character, and him and Wolverine. So he was my favorite, and when I started it, I used to do the moves and whatever, and my brother joined with me, and Hunda, who you see in my Amiibo videos, that's how we gained so close, because we used to be enemies. I used to be his bully, believe it or not. So we became, you know, best of friends. Obviously, my brother and I bonded a lot more, and I learned a lot of discipline because I was a salty bastard when I was younger. Like back then, I was the bigger kid. Like I would be taller and bigger, and then I stopped at 5'6", and everybody else got bigger. As God said, you know, go to hell. That's what you get. So when I was younger, again, I used to, you know, look up to my brother and why he played it. So when I kind of branched off and did my martial arts, my brother had a bad knee injury and he left at blue belt, and we did it all together. Well, when I was going to get my brown with black stripe belt, we had a tournament in Toronto, and it showcased all the martial arts, because there's 3 studios that were dojos that my martial arts owned, like it was a chain. And I had the one in Oshawa, which is east of Toronto, around 40 minutes. If you know, people that are watching in, you know, Toronto or GTA will know where that is. And it was there, and I did very well. I was a great student. You know, like my katas were sweet. You know, I loved it. It was my love. Disciplined me very well. I changed. You know, a lot of people said if you stayed the way you were before martial arts, you probably would have been in jail. I was such a bastard. I was a bad kid. And a lot of people don't believe that, because I used to be a little shy, and I used to just rage. And I was got my discipline and my structure from that, so that raised me, and I mean that. And why it's important to me is because a lot of the video games were my inspiration. I liked doing the things that my Hund and I would practice Hadoukens in the mirror, and it was stupid, but we were teens at that time, and we had such a great time. Dedicated, learned about exercise, discipline, everything. You know, honor and respect. Not to say I'm a perfect person, but a lot of it came from that, and loyalty. So when we went to this tournament, it's the first time I've ever been in a hotel before. I did play competitive sports, baseball, especially baseball, a little hockey, and we never really stayed over. I wasn't that good to be competitive. I got pulled off early. So when we went to this tournament for 2 days, it was Friday night, Saturday, and then Sunday. We slept over 2 days, and it was the first time, again, I was in a hotel room, and it was me, Hunda, and then a couple of other guys from there as well. My brother, again, hurt his knee, wasn't there. We had a great time. We had a dinner. I won a bunch of awards. Hunda won awards. You know, we did. Sparring was good. It was probably one of the best times of my life that I didn't have to worry about girl problems. I didn't have to worry about money. I didn't have to worry about, even though I had a job as a paper route, I had, it's remember it was $120 a month. It was good enough to buy video games and, little things. I didn't, have to worry about, I had already had my loyal friends. I didn't have to think about life and, what that brings. And it was just the more clear, open, and loving time of my life. And, because I was doing well, too. So I was the guy. Like, I was doing very well. And Steve was, the heart of the dojo. It's hard to believe that, but my energy, everybody loved it, and it was the best time, man. We made friends, and it was just fun, and it was towards a good cause, learning how to not fight, and it's very true. So when we were in the hotel, we were bored because after dinner, a lot of the older students and adults that joined martial arts, because it was, from, I think, 15 to 70, there's a 70-year-old guy there, and he's actually the one that gave the credit card for the hotel room, believe it or not, because he didn't stay with us. He just put it on. He trusted us. And we were bored after dinner, so I'm like, yo, what are we going to do? So me and Hunda are like, so what do we went off, ventured. I didn't drink at the time. I didn't care or smoked or anything. So we went to look, go get ice. Now, where the vending machines were downstairs, where the ice machine, there's a little entertainment section. There's an arcade. So they had 3 games. It was the Neo-Geo 4-slot. It was Neo-Geo 4-slot. It had 1 pinball machine. I think it was Getaway. Getaway or High Speed. Getaway is the first. Yeah, it was Getaway. Excuse me. No, High Speed. No, it was. It was Getaway, the Neo-Geo 4-slot, and something else I can't remember. Maybe it was Cruis'n USA. Is that possible? They had a few games. Now, the Neo-Geo was what I gravitated to. So what we did was, me and Hunda would play, and Samurai Shodown was the big fighter in there. I think they had Bust a Move as well, or something. I can't remember. But, you know, Samurai Showdown was the big game in there. We used to play the hell out of it. I remember everybody's like, where's Steven? Alan's his real name, but I call him Hunda. It's an inside thing. So Hunda, we're like, where's Alan and Steve? And, like, you know, we were just playing down there, and a couple of other friends of us came. So, you know, we would just literally go beside it. It was like vending machine, pop machine, Neo-Geo, Cruising USA or whatever, and I think the Getaway. And we would just sit there. No one went in there. So it was a little room. We just used to eat, and we would just sit there and just play video games for probably 3 hours. We're just sitting there all night till probably 11, 12. And, you know, that's where I really fell in love with Neo Geo. It was kind of on my own. I was playing with friends. It was the best time of my life. And it's one of those nostalgic things that as soon as I think of, you know, Samurai Showdown or Neo Geo, the Big Red, you know, I think back to when that was, you know, one of the greatest times of my life. Okay, yo guys, I'm back. Obviously, there's a kind of scenery change here because I never knew something happened with my camera when I was uploading it to YouTube. And I thought it was good for the next few days. And good thing I have a few days off to restore some things here. When I went to check my videos and start to dump all the footage, I noticed this scene never made it. Because before the battery cut, and then I went to film and something happened. Either way, I've been testing with 4K video anyways. I've been in contact with Google and YouTube back and forth because I was testing 4K. Top Tier's going 4K. And I've actually would have gone 3 weeks ago, but the problem is I'm having a problem uploading it to 4K when I'm in the editor. And YouTube's getting back to me saying that, hey, we're looking into it. A few other people have had the issue, and that's a problem because I wanted to go 4K badly, especially for these restores. So, you know, it's a time of things to come. I got to upgrade. I know John was having an issue with John's Arcade's having an issue with his camera, and by the time you see this, he'll probably have it by already for sure. And so I'm going to be changing the camera for sure. I already really did, but then it wouldn't work, so I returned it. With that being said, again, let's move forward with the rest of the video. So I actually had this. You know what's funny? I had the cigar cut, which is bad etiquette. So for cigar guy, you know, shame on me. You shouldn't relight a cigar ever because the arsenic and the carcinogens and, you know, the burn, it tastes gross. But I had to do it. So a few days later, I had it and I just relit it. Going back to what I was saying, anytime I talk to my wife and she asks me, Steve, what was the time in your life that was, you know, the most blissful and liberating and just no problems? And it was that time. That day cemented it for sure because, you know, I was doing the two things I love at the time, which was martial arts and video games. Not much has changed. I still feel very physical. I'm not doing martial arts, but I still remember, and I, you know, go to the gym often. I've gained some weight. I got to lose it because I have a few weddings coming up. Gained a little during the winter, lingering winter, but no excuse. Neo-Geo was something that at the time it was martial arts and cigars. Excuse me, arcades. Now it's arcades and cigars. So I guess matured into that. But you know what? It was a beautiful time in my life. You know, now, you know, it's one of those times I think back, what was something that was great in life? It was something that was, you know, revolutionary to me as, you know, as an adult. What really started it when it comes to just, you know, being free and knowing what freedom is, and that was it. I know it sounds a little over-exaggerated, but it is. Definitely loved it, and, you know, that's why Neo-Geo was big for me, and why I have to have it in my collection. Of course, I'm a fighting game guy, like I said before, so it has to be here. Guys, you know, I'm going to pretty much wrap it up. I've said what I wanted to say. If you guys have any memories yourself, comments, concerns, whatnot, leave it in the description below, or comments below, I should say, and if you ever want to subscribe, please do so. Beside you right now, there's something that is coming in the next few videos that I can't wait to finally get to, because it's been anticipated for more than 2 years. I'm going to leave it at that. All the best and thanks for checking out Top Tier. Peace.